All right, 102. Now that you've read a little bit in the Cengage material about some of the basic terms when it comes to interacting with the web, the main portal we use to interact with the web is our browser. Now, we're going to talk about browsers here, and we're going to break it down into two videos. The first video, that's this one, is desktop browsers. The second video is going to be mobile browsers. Now, I know that each of us has kind of a wide variety of different hardware. So here on a desktop, I'm recording this in a Mac. I'm a Mac user. As a matter of fact, all four of our other CIS instructors prefer the Windows side of things. So certainly I will talk about Windows. Certainly I will talk about Chrome OS. Certainly I will talk about Mac. When we get into the mobile browser side of things, we'll talk about the iOS side and the Android side of things. So first and foremost, a browser, again, is the portal we use to access the internet. We use whatever probably was the default on our machines when we got them. So if that means that you are on a Mac, that means you use Safari. If that means that you are on a PC, more often than not, you use Edge. If you are on a Chromebook, that means you use Chrome. That's not necessarily the order in which we would prefer you use browsers in order to keep your data the most safe. So here what I have is a site called ZDNet. ZDNet is one of the oldest kind of like tech and society related pages on the internet. It really is a good resource to use. This particular chapter also mentions The Verge. That's another fantastic resource to use. Here we have this year's list of best secure browsers to protect your privacy online. Something that's very, very vital to understand here, and I'm about to verbally diminish what Chrome does. And I understand that probably a fair amount of you are, number one, using Chrome right now. Number two, Chrome is your preferred browser, whether or not you are on a Chromebook, a Windows PC, or a Mac, whether or not you are on an Android phone or an iOS device possibly. The truth of the matter is that Chrome does not do very much to protect your privacy and security. Even if you use incognito mode, it doesn't actually do anything to obscure your searches. It doesn't actually do anything to obscure your IP address, which is like your phone number on the internet. It's another way to essentially connect you to the traffic it is that you are generating on the web. We are going to loop back around and talk about rather IP addresses, MAC addresses, stuff like that when we talk about networking in a later chapter. Chrome is free for you to use because Google makes a ton of money, billions of dollars every quarter. They make money when you generate search queries. They make money when you generate traffic. That is how Chrome makes its money. It is not interested in your personal privacy, your data privacy in any way, shape, or form. And I am not suggesting that all of the other browsers are altruistic. They are, doing business with nothing but your best interests at heart. That's maybe not necessarily true. But when it comes to personal safety, the number one, or personal data safety, the number one browser recommended almost exclusively across the board, and you can see it here as our number two choice, is Mozilla Firefox. Firefox is part of what's called the Mozilla Foundation. They have been around since the very, very dawn of the web as kind of the remnants of Netscape Navigator, which was really the first extremely popular way that people were able to browse the internet. Mozilla.org, really at their very core, is a nonprofit that does get money from even users like us, but they really do make colossal strides to protect your privacy. Here, I know you can't see it, but I'm on my Mac and I have many, many tabs open in the background, and they are all of them open in Firefox because, as somebody who has worked in security for IT, I value the tracks I leave on the internet. I want that to be as minimal as possible, and Firefox is a fantastic way to do that. Mentioned here, and I'm going to mention it if you are on a PC or if you are on a Mac, is the DuckDuckGo browser. I will leave links to this in the page so that you can follow along to those. DuckDuckGo browser primarily is focused on an alternative to Google search. It works okay, and it is primarily concerned with obscuring your traffic on the web, not because you're doing, bad. I don't know what else to call it. You're doing untoward things on the web. I don't think that that's true at all. But what I do think is true is that you deserve a semblance of privacy. DuckDuckGo browser does provide that for you. Mentioned here is a browser called Brave. We actually suggest Edge instead. Now, I know some of you hate Edge, and I think that is a reputation that is well deserved. It is actually a relatively fast browser. It is actually built entirely off of Chrome. So if you use Chrome extensions that you like, you can simply activate them on Microsoft Edge and away you go. So there's value to using alternative browsers there. Firefox is the preference. Edge would come after that. DuckDuckGo, if you are strictly concerned about privacy over all else. Those three browsers, you'll notice I didn't mention Chrome, those three browsers are available on Chromebooks, they are available on Mac OS, they are available on Windows OSs. So no matter what kind of desktop hardware you have, you do have the option to switch browsers, to increase your security, and to help you guard your personal data interactions on the web.